Looks like we're live. How's it going, everyone? It's Leo Beas with cowbellkingdom.com. And tonight, we are having a short CK podcast, solo CK podcast. Tomorrow, though, Matt George, my co-host, will be back. So stay tuned for that. We're going to break down the entire, last 2 weeks that we haven't been on. I apologize on behalf of everyone, of Matt, of myself, of the entire CK team. There's been a lot of things going on behind closed doors, but everything's settled down now. And be ready and stay ready and be alert for these CK podcasts as we deliver them on a way more consistent basis now. So stay tuned for that. And I think I'm going to like this Q&A. I've done this a lot on Instagram, but as you guys know, on Instagram, they disappear after you end the live casts. This will stay on YouTube. So the people that will tune in now, good for you guys. Have your questions ready. For the people that will watch this later, I'll try to get to all the questions possible. So what I want to cover today is where the Kings are positioned in the NBA mock drafts right now. Believe it or not, the Pelicans are 6th and the Kings are 7th. That means the Kings will have 2 top 10 picks, just like I said they would. It's looking pretty good, Kings fans. I know you guys want to win, and I know you guys want to make the playoffs. The players want to make the playoffs. I want the team to make the playoffs. But when you look at the big picture, you can't help but salivate over this upcoming draft. This upcoming draft is just crazy. It's deep with so much talent. I kid you not. When you look at this draft, you're looking at guys like Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, Josh Jackson, Dennis Smith Jr. from NC State. Not the original Wolfpack, because the original Wolfpack is the Nevada Wolfpack. So go Pack. Shout out to you guys for winning the Mountain West title. Shout out to Eric Musselman. He's doing a wonderful job at the University of Nevada, which is where I graduated from in 2015. It has been about almost 2 years now, man. That's crazy. I felt like it was just yesterday. But, they're doing great. Cam Oliver, a potential pick for the Kings with that 76ers pick, I think, that they have. That they got in that Pelicans trade, that's a possibility. Although if he continues to ball out, expect him to go late first, mid first. Cam Oliver, man, I mean, he's a baller. He's a good power forward. He can stretch out the floor. He's a super athlete. Reminds me a lot of Marquise Chris, who the Kings traded. But if you get him late in the first or early in the second, there's lots of value there. I also want to cover tomorrow's game, a little preview of what's to come against the Spurs. Should be interesting. I believe Kawhi Leonard is the NBA MVP right now. If it ended today, I don't see how he doesn't get it. They're number one currently. This guy is doing it all. I mean, I know he's on the Spurs, and I know he has the best coach in the NBA. But when you look at that roster, you can't sit here and tell me that it's as dominant as it once was. Kawhi Leonard is the heart and soul of that team on both ends of the floor. He is the best two-way player. Now, people can argue, of course, I agree. LeBron is the best player still. But I'm going to say it right now. I think Kawhi is the second best player on earth because he can affect the game on both ends. Let me know what you guys think. Start commenting. Have your questions ready for me. So we're going to cover that. We're going to cover the prospects for a little bit. I don't want to get too deep into it because I want this to be more of a Q&A for you guys, because tomorrow Matt, George, and I will cover this a lot more in depth. I'm not sure if we're going live yet. I was supposed to have Mike Schmitz from Draft Express and The Vertical on this week's podcast, but he got sick and stuff like that, so we had to reschedule. He is scheduled for next Tuesday, though, so that's a good thing. Lots of guests coming up. Ed Isaacson from NBC Sports. I think he doesn't work there anymore, but He's still a draft guru. He knows what he's talking about. It's always good to bring on guys who cover college basketball. I try to watch as much as possible. But it's not the same. It's like someone coming into or start. It's like national guys talking about the Kings. They're not going to know everything that's going on. They don't have a great feel for the team, for the city, for stuff like that. I'm on the beat covering this team. I know a lot more than most of these guys do, nationally speaking. And it's hard because when you're national, you can't cover every single team in depth. So you're going to have a general sense of these teams, but it'll never be the same in terms of the local guys knowing what's going on, because the local guys do know what's going on because, we show up to practices and stuff like that, and we have a better feel for the team, and we're in the locker room, and, but let's go back to the draft. Okay. Right now, if it ended today, the Pelicans would be 6th. The Kings would get that pick, so they would be drafting 6th, and the Kings would be 7th. They'd be drafting 7th. And I know it doesn't always end up like that, but can you imagine getting the 6th and 7th pick in this year's draft? I mean, you're talking about guys like De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Jason Tatum from Duke, Dennis Smith Jr., as I said earlier, TJ Leaf from UCLA, Miles Bridges from Michigan State. You have a lot of talented guys coming out. You might not get your Lonzo Ball or Markelle Fultz, but can you imagine getting Tatum and Dennis Smith, future small forward, future point guard, in the same draft in the top 10? That's crazy talk. I mean, that's something to be excited about. Vlade Divac has positioned the Kings to be in that position. So I don't expect the Pelicans to make the playoffs. I don't. I don't think they're good enough. I don't think they have enough shooters around DeMarcus and AD. So expect them to finish in the top 10. And I don't think the Kings will make the playoffs either because they're not good enough. What I do want to see is the young guys develop a little bit more. I know a lot of you guys are saying, oh, Dave Yeager doesn't play him enough. Look, technically speaking, if the Kings are still within reach of the playoffs, he's going to play his vets. And at the same time, I tend to agree with him. He doesn't want to put his players in a position where you throw them out there. A good example, Skal guarding Brook Lopez. He got tortured, and he took him out right away. Fans were like, oh, my God. Like, yes, Skal is, I think, the one rookie that has a chance to be a star in this league. I'm not saying Buddy and Malachi won't, but when I look at Skal, I see unlimited potential. And I see a guy who is very humble, who is a gym rat. And like you guys, if you guys followed me during Summer League, I was high on him. The first day I watched him play, I was like, oh, my God, this guy fell to number 28. Vlade Divac just stole this trade. And I don't care if he drafted him at 28. I don't care if Papa Giannis was drafted at 13. Who cares? What matters is that if Skal can play, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter where these guys are drafted. Jimmer was drafted 10th. Isaiah Thomas was drafted 60th. What does that tell you? It doesn't matter anymore, guys. Be content with what you have. And on top of that, he got Bogdanovich, who was coming over next year. So I expect this guy to be, at the very minimum, a top 8 player on this roster, meaning he's going to be part of the rotation. He's a very good shooter. He's a playmaker. He can play the 1, the 2. I'm hearing the 3 now. So the Kings have assets all of a sudden. I think Malachi is a guy who can easily score 15 at the very minimum. Now, will he be a star? That's completely up to him. Does he have the potential? Sure he does. All these guys do, right? Buddy Hield, same thing with him. He has the potential to be a star. Will he be that star? I think he has a work ethic to be a star. He's a guy that can easily score 18 to 20 points a night. If you guys watched that breakdown where I broke down his first 4 games with the Kings, his jump shot is beautiful. His release point is on point, no pun intended. It's high where defenders can't get to it. He has good lift in the shot. It's quick. It's a quick release. You have to love that, guys. This team has a bright future. For the first time in a long time, I can say it. This team has a bright future. I haven't been able to say that. I'm going to look at my phone to check out the viewers and the questions. I'm going to look at my phone. There it is. Right. So let me see what you guys got for me, okay? What's up, guys? Danny, Malik Monk. I know we don't get a shooting guard, but let's get him and figure it out later. Again, I won't be mad if we get Malik Monk. Like, Malik Monk is a guy who can play the 1 and the 2. So Malik Monk is nice. If you guys follow me enough, you guys know I'm super high on him. I think he has the best jump shot in the draft, bar nothing. He's a guy who I think is a bigger, more athletic Lou Williams. Malik Monk can play. And I've always said this. It's never a bad thing when you have a lot of talented players on this team, because then they become assets and other teams need those players. Then you start, filling in the needs. But yeah, that's not a bad thing if you get a Malik Monk, because Malik Monk can play the point. He's capable of playing the point. Oh, and I do want to mention this. If I did my math correctly, which I'm not very good at math, the Kings are set to have $35 to $45 million to spend in free agency. Another thing I want to mention. Even if you don't draft a small forward, which I think they will, and even if they do draft a small forward, you go after Otto Porter, one of the best three-point shooters out there, one of the best defenders on the wing out there. You have a great asset in Garrett Temple, who is a role model, a mentor for Otto. Otto's 23. He's going to be 24, but this is a guy you want to max out. You want this guy, you're going to have the money to spend it, spend the money. Otto Porter will make the Kings better. Otto Porter has a lot of talent. He's not needed to do, like, if you go look up his stats, he's okay. He's not worth the max money. He is worth the max money, because this guy is a two-way player, a 3-and-D guy who can hit the open shot when needed. And when I break down film on him, he's a guy who is capable of scoring 15 to 18 a night. But he's not needed to do it because they got John Wall, Bradley Beal. But on this team, right now, he would be the best player on this team. Now, this team is going to look a lot different come July. I don't think they'll sign Darren Collison. They're not going to sign Ty Lawson. They're not going to sign Ben McLemore. They're not going to sign Aaron Flalo. I think they'll keep Anthony Tolliver, which is a great locker room guy, a great human being, and a great mentor. G Temp is here for the next 2 years. Who else am I missing? I mean, I just named like 4 or 5 guys that you might not have next year, and I think you won't have those guys, to be honest with you. So you're going to have 5 open roster spots. You put 2 rookies in there if you do indeed get 2 top 10 picks. So you're looking at about 4 to 5 roster spots after that. If everything goes well, like the Kings hope, he got Bogdan. So he got about 4. So about 4 roster spots, about $45 million to spend. You got to max out somebody. And I've always been the type of guy that says, I don't care if you got to pay a guy $50 million a year, but it needs to be a short term. And by short term, I mean 1 year, 2 years. It doesn't matter if you max them out. Because if you max them out for 1 year, they're going to come off the books the next year. Sometimes you need, and again, you have to spend the money. Why not go after a guy like Otto Porter, who has a lot of potential, who's still young? You want a guy like that, guys. Jonathan Isaac, SS Productions. Leo, it's Kings. Let's go, Wolfpack. James Harden is going to win it. Again, I like James Harden. I love James Harden. I think it's like this. My top 4 right now is Kawhi Leonard at 1, James Harden at 2, Russell Westbrook at 3, LeBron at 4. Those are my top 4. Now, I know Kawhi won't win it because he's not your flashy type player. But in reality, how can you debate he's not the MVP? I mean, this guy has his team as a number 1 seed. And he's doing it on both ends. He's the best two-way player in the game. The best defender in the world. How is he not the MVP? He's shooting 90% from the free throw line. Jay Tat repping out Duke Pride. Lonzo, Malik, or bust. My prediction. Hyped. That's our best case scenario if we get 2 top 10 first round picks. Skal is one of a kind. Again, Skal is one of a kind. I agree. I've said that since day 1. This guy just has it. This guy has unlimited potential. If your only issue is to gain weight, you have a bright future because he's only 21 right now. He still needs to grow into his body. He still hasn't had an official offseason yet with the best trainers in the world, the best chefs in the world. If you guys remember the podcast that we had, Graham Bachart, his mental skills coach, he said, quote, he will be an all-star. Boys, and I don't want to jump the gun, but man, I'm going to jump the gun. He's going to be an all-star in this league. He's going to be an all-star in this league. Barring injury, of course. Skal is a baller. And hopefully we have Graham Bachart on soon. I'm going to hit up his PR guy, Chris. I think he's scheduled to come for the Magic game, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have something with him, catch up with him and see the development of where Skal is mentally. Because that's very important. I feel like every team should have a mental skills coach. Every team should have that. That's vital. 80% of the game is mental. The best players in this game are the strongest mentally. Ben McLemore could have benefited a lot from a mental skills coach. DeMarcus Cousins could have benefited a lot from a mental skills coach. And again, it's good to have physical training staffs, but you need a mental skills training staff. I think it's vital for that. MJ had him. Kobe had that. The best of the best have it mentally. What's the trade as bad as everyone thinks? Who do we look forward to position without Rudy? Carlos Espinosa says the problem is that we have no good history of developing talent. Another bad year. It's like, damn, 10 years of just sucking kind of hurts. And it's another what if we get 2 or nothing? Carlos Espinosa. Answer me this. Has Vlade drafted a bust yet? Willie can potentially be that. I don't think he will. So when you look at Vlade's draft history, he drafted Willie as his first draft pick ever. Then he drafted Skal. He drafted Malachi. He drafted Papa. And he got Bogdan. Say Papa does become a bust. We don't know that yet, though. So as of right now, when people say, we don't draft well, it's kind of hard to draft every year at 7, 8, 9, 10. When was the last time they had a top 5 pick? DeMarcus Cousins. No, I take that back. They had Thomas Robinson. You're right. A bust. But that wasn't Vlade. Could they have drafted better guys over Willie? Of course. Sure. It's easy to say it after like, oh, yeah. The babyface assassin from Phoenix. He's a baller. Oh, we should have drafted him. In the moment, though, you needed a defensive anchor, and you got him. I get it. It's easy to say it, though. After all this, who else was in that Willie draft? That was after him. Look him up. But again, Vlade has yet to draft a bust. We have to be patient. We have to get out of this mindset of, oh, we don't draft well, we suck, blah blah blah. Hold your horses, man. Give Vlade a chance. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if he can strike gold. I think Skal is gold. I really do. So, again, people can. Oh, Vlade traded. No, Vlade did not trade Isaiah Thomas. That was Pete D'Alessandro, who will never be a GM again. So, I feel like a lot of Kings fans are misinformed, and it's my job and my duty to inform you guys the right way, objectively speaking, as well. So, Vlade has made one bad move, in my opinion, and that was a trade to Philadelphia. That was it was an inexperienced move. You know, now he has Kent Canella, who was a salary cap guru. If Ken was there, no way they make that trade, or at least the terms of that trade. You know, you live and you learn, and I believe he learned from that. Give this guy a chance. He said it in 2 years. If this ship's not going the right way, he'll step down. That's confidence. You have to love that from the leader, from your general manager. I love it. You should too. Now it's up to you guys. Like, I can't force you guys to believe in him, but I can tell you what he has done and what he hasn't and what he could have done. Like I said, to me, that's been his biggest fault. I like Malachi at 22. He traded Marco Bellinelli for Malachi. That's a good trade. Malachi has the potential to play the small forward. He's big enough to play the small forward. He is a shooter. He is deceptively quick. He's a good player. His basketball IQ is high. That's something about these guys. Skal's IQ is high. Buddy's IQ is high. Malachi's IQ is high. We don't know much about Papa yet, but I can tell you what. He has a nice touch inside the paint. It's day and night with this improvement. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks a lot lighter. He's blocking more shots. He's rebounding out of his position. I know he's 7'2", but if he can start, even if he becomes a Costa Kufis, that's winning. At 13, that's winning. Costa Kufis is a hell of a player, a true pro. That's what you want. Good locker room guys. Professionals that are durable. I don't know how many games Kosta's missed, but this guy plays through pain. Who is also Greek. Again, don't be so judgmental and so fast to say, oh, he's a bust. Name me this year's rookie of the year. Besides, Joel Embiid's not a true rookie. Like, he's been hurt for 2 years, but he's not a true rookie. Name me who is balling out there, who has played a lot of minutes. Denzel Valentine has bad knees. You can't name it. Like, you can't name them. If Skal would have had more playing time, if the draft was redone, Skal's a top 10 pick. No question about it. Just based on the small sample sizes that we have watched him play in. This guy's a top 10 pick. He's just smooth. He should change his name to Smooth. Let's look. Simbular. Vlade didn't draft Simbular, dude. Stop. Look, the Kings developed the best center in the NBA with Boogie and one best point guard in the NBA in Isaiah. Kings do draft well. We just need to keep our talent. We ain't been to the playoffs since, what, 05? How patient do we need to be? Again, I'm going to say it like this. If your goal is to make the playoffs and not to win the championship, your standards are low and they're not correct. Like, I said this in my article the next day they traded DeMarcus. The ceiling for this team, the way it was constructed, and how they had to pay him $200 million plus, tops an 8 seed. I don't want this team to be an 8 seed, guys. I want this team to be a championship contender. They weren't going to be that with DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus didn't attract other players to come play with him. Okay? The Kings have never been in rebuild mode with DeMarcus Cousins. It's always been a short-sighted, let's win now. Let's surround him now. If you guys notice why Vlade made that trade with Philadelphia was to create cap space. Who would they get? Rondo, Bellinelli, Costa. They had to make room for these guys because they wanted to win now. They had George Karl. You couldn't get anyone else. Stop it already. These are the only guys who wanted to play here. They see DeMarcus Cousins and they see a guy who is constantly arguing with refs, constantly not getting back on defense. Guys don't want to play with a guy like that, man. The guys they signed were the guys that accepted to come here. It's not that they can't surround him with players. You're telling me Marco is shooting over 45% from three-point land this year. How is that possible? 1 year of difference. 1 year older, and he's shooting better. Aflalo was a good shooter. The beginning of the year, he couldn't shoot to save his life. He was shooting like 32%. Now, I agree. Boogie didn't draft the other guys. And again, that wasn't Vlade, though. That was Pete D'Alessandro. That was Jeff Petrie, who drafted the other busts, the Jimmers, the Quincy Doobies, the Thomas Robinsons. You ain't got to blame Vlade for that. I'm just saying, be patient. I'm spitting facts at you right now. Yes, the GM drafts players, but who is developing them? The Kings have already developed their picks, so everyone is right. We start developing. What do you think of Papa G, Leo? Again, we don't know much of Papa G yet. We haven't seen much of him. What I do know is that he's worked hard. He's lost a lot of weight. He's made improvements. That's all you can ask for. We knew he was going to be a development when drafting him. Could Vlade have drafted him later? We don't know that. What if someone wanted to take him at 18, 19, which was rumored that was going to happen? So he pulled the trigger at 13. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Was it the right pick? No. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was. But again, is he a bust? No. We got to give him a chance and see what he can do. If he becomes a serviceable big man, that was a good pick. It was. He's 7'2". You can't teach 7'2". Okay? If he can be a good rebounder, a nice shot blocker, and we already know he has a nice inside touch with his hook shots, that's not a bad pick. It's not. Let me see. Who drafted Hassan Whiteside? I believe it was Jeff Petrie, if I'm not mistaken. Again, Hassan Whiteside? Are you serious? Hassan Whiteside was a nobody. He's not very bright. I'll tell you that much. He literally had to go. I believe he went overseas. Then he was on several D-League teams. And people want to bring him Hassan Whiteside? Come on, y'all. Yeah, he's good now. The possibilities and the odds of that coming to fruition are very low. He was a second-round pick for a reason. It took him about 6 years. So don't say they gave up Hassan Whiteside. 7 other teams also did that. He had to go and learn and live. How can I say this? And face adversity in his life to really wake up and say, you know what, I can be a player in this league. I'm 7'2". Not many players are 7'2", legit. You know, I'm athletic. How can I change my lifestyle? How can I become a better basketball player? And he took it to heart, and he became better. Was that the Kings' fault? No. It just happens that way, man. That was one of those, like, okay, you can't blame the Kings for that. Good for him. He got better. Sometimes you need a change of scenery. It happens. That's just life, though. Sometimes if it's not working, you move on. And it wasn't working for a lot of teams, not just the Kings. The lead. Just think about it. Everything has been so bad, but yet you guys are still on the bubble for the 8th seed. Right future ahead. Can only go up. Keep up the good work. There you go. Shout out to the lead. Check out their stuff, man. You have lots of good stuff covering the NBA. What shooting guard gets dropped before next season? Again, I named a lot of guys. You know, I don't think Darren will be here. Ben won't be here. Flawley won't be here. Ty won't be here. I mean, those are 4 guards right there. Tyreek probably won't be here. That's 5. Galloway has a player option to opt in. Rudy might not be here. I think he's going to opt out. I mean, they're going to have at least $35 to $50 million to spend. Like a lot of money. A lot of money. A lot of chuck chain. So, people, look at this, man. I'm 23 years old. Every time people say Buddy's old, I get offended. I'm not going to lie. 23 years old is not old. He is a rookie. His basketball IQ is way higher than most these 19-year-olds anyway. He's better than Jamal Murray right now. Will he be better in the future? We don't know. We don't even know Murray will be good in the future. He's shown flashes just like Buddy. Buddy has shown lots of flashes, man. He's turning the ball over right now because he hasn't had enough reps in this system. He's not comfortable enough in the system yet. That takes time. But when you look at his game and what he does offensively, don't sit here and lie to me and tell me that he doesn't have game. Because he does have game. This kid can shoot. Shooting is at a premium in this league. You will always have a place in this league if he can shoot the ball. Buddy, check. He can shoot the ball. So, I like it. I like where this team is going, guys. Ask your questions, man. Ask your questions. Tomorrow, again, reminder, Matt, George, and I will have another podcast. And again, we're going to have Mike Smoltz from Draft Express and The Vertical. He does great work there. He's going to drop some insight on the upcoming draft and on this year's rookies. So stay tuned for that next Tuesday. He's scheduled at noon. Again, we're going to have a lot of guests talking college basketball. You know, the Golden One is having, I think, the first 2 rounds, I believe. We might see Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz. That's exciting. We'll be there watching. I mean, I don't want to go as media. I want to go as a fan and just enjoy and just not, I mean, I don't want to say scout, but yes, scout these kids and then drop the knowledge that that I get and, convey it for you guys in the best way possible, in the most objective way, because that's how I roll. That's how I conduct my business objectively. I'm going to tell you how I feel. You guys know I always keep it real. I don't have anything to hide. I love what I do. And again, I've said this in the past. I'm going to say it again. I am nothing. Everybody at Cowbell is nothing without the support from you guys. And we are very thankful and humbled by your guys' support. We love you guys. Again, we sit in section 105. If you guys want to come down, say what's up, talk Kings basketball, we're there. I love engaging with fans live, man. I mean, I love it. I live for it. It's a great feeling when people say, keep up the good work. We consume your coverage. You're doing a great job. That's why we do this, for you guys. And we take pride in being the best. I've said that, and I'm going to say it again. I believe we're the best when it comes down to content, to graphics, to video, to all that. Anything that's digital, we're there. But without you guys, we're nothing. So, and I do want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. Quick notes. Valley Tire Center is hosting AG Fest 17. It's March 23rd, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're giving out Kings tickets, free food, games. It's Customer Appreciation Day for them. We'll be there. Come down, join us. It's going to be fun, guys. Kid you not. It's going to be lots of fun. And make sure to download their mobile app, the Valley Tire Center mobile app. If you're driving cars, I'm sure most of you are already, college, high school, you get free tire balancing. They'll hook you up. Just mention the CK special. Lots of great people working there. And of course, shout out to Don Weir's Reno Dodge dealership, who's been a great sponsor for us. Go down there, mention the CK special, and you get they'll match your down payment up to $1,000 if you mention the CK special. They're having amazing deals right now. It's March Madness month, so the madness of the deals are crazy. Like they're giving out 2017 Dodge Ram for $30,000. That's unheard of. They have amazing deals going on. Check them out. They have a great website, great people. We work with great people, and hoopcats.com. You're looking for any Malachi, Skal, Buddy, NBA memorabilia. They have it. They have it all. Check them out. Give them a follow. They do their own giveaways. They're pretty good on that. Jerry does a great job over there. Check out their online store on eBay. If you want autographed stuff, legit stuff, hoopcats.com, they have it. Check them out. Give them a follow. Give all these guys a follow on Instagram. We would really appreciate that. That's what pays the bills. That's what pays all this stuff. So again, thank you guys. Go back to the comments. Let me see what I got. People slammed us for taking Sauce Castillo over Peyton. It was lose. Exactly. Like if you look at Peyton, he's not. He hasn't been what he was supposed to be. A mini Rajon Rondo. Like people, oh yeah, he's good. Again, when you look at these guys, and especially this last draft, man, I love Skal. Like I'm looking and I'm thinking, who could they have drafted? I think they're in a good position, guys. I really do. Let's see. Dude doesn't have that IT factor. What are you talking about? Madness is coming. Dennis Smith Jr. is overrated. I believe when you look at the free agency class, you got George Hill, Jeff Teague, I think are my two top guys that's realistic. See, this is what I would do. I would give any of these two guys a 2-year deal, max them out. And I'm talking about max money. Give them 2 years, max them out, because you're going to have lots of rookies on rookie contracts. So you're going to have to spend the money anyway. Max them out in 2 years. If they don't work out, bye. See you later. I don't care if they got to pay him $20, $25 million a year. Who cares? That money's going to come back in 2 years. It's going to open up again. See, that's the mindset that I have. Go out there, overpay for these guys, but make it 1, 2, and even the third year, but make that a team option. That's how I would negotiate my stuff. Max them out. Who cares if you have to overpay for them? That money's going to come back anyway. Now, if you're going to pay them the money for 5 years, that's a huge mistake. I mean, that matters. But 1 or 2 years, sorry. Why not? Who cares if they're making $80 million a year? That's beyond the point. Obviously, I'm being facetious right now, but if you have to max someone out on a short-term deal, just do it. You have to spend the money regardless. If not, you're going to get capped. That makes sense? Let me see. It's more about drafting smart than getting high draft picks. Dennis Smith can't shoot. ATM, maybe another Alfred Payton. I don't know about that, man. Dennis Smith can't shoot. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. You know what I mean? His contract can be bought out for $1 million. It sucks living in Nevada because no one barely knows NBA around my area. Hey, I love Reno. I love Reno. And you know why I love Reno. Beautiful, beautiful city. Coach Muslim is doing a great job out there. Former Kings coach. I'm looking at the mock drafts now. We got 6th and 9th. What do you think, Leo? Right now we got 6th and 7th, bro. I looked earlier. Right now they're 6th and 7th. Again, Jason Tatum's going to be there. Dennis Smith's going to be there. Frank Nakula. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's a hell of a talent. I mean, he's French. He's tall. He's athletic. He can do it on defense and on offense. You can call him a project. I can call him a baller. So he's going to be there. My point is, you're going to have a chance to draft the small forward and the point guard in the top 10. And then if you go out and max out Otto Porter, $26 million, I would give him that money, even on the 4 or 5 years, because he's 20. He's going to be 24. By the time it's all done, he's 29. He's still a solid basketball player. Like he has so much room to grow and develop. I will max him out. Great attitude, 2-way player, 3-and-D guy. Why not? So you draft the point guard, you draft the small forward, you go out and sign Otto Porter. You might give Jeff Teague 1 or 2 years, give him $20 million a year. You got to spend the money. All of a sudden, your team's looking kind of good. Mix in some veterans in there, with your young guns. Remember, you don't want to have an all-young team. You need to have capable veterans that have the ability to play, not just lead in the locker room. And that's great to have. You want that, but you want these guys to back it up on the floor. So, how long have I done this already? 8:51. It's my end soon, guys. You know, it's been fun. We could pull up Isaiah Cousins from Oklahoma backcourt together. Isaiah Cousins could be interesting, but who knows? Isaiah Cousins has talent. Again, to me, with Isaiah, it's all mental at this point. He has the ability, the size, the strength, the speed, but I don't think he has it up here yet. That may take some time in the D League. Lots of players. I honestly believe Malachi, Skal, and Papa, they've gotten better because of the D League. It's there for a reason, guys. Think about that. They've gotten better because of the D League. I know fans are impatient. I know fans want it now. They always want it now. But when you look at the big picture, you don't want another Ben McLemore where you give him the keys to the car. You just throw him out there. He didn't earn the spot. They just gave it to him. And he wasn't even that good anyway. Like, if he was that good, like a Tyreek, it'd be different. But he wasn't. He didn't know what to do with it. When you're not that good and you have that much pressure to perform, again, it wasn't his fault that the Kings drafted him. They would have drafted CJ McCollum. They brought in CJ for 2 interviews, for 2 workouts because they loved him. But when Ben McLemore, and that draft is crazy because what's his name from UNLV went number 1. When he went number 1, that messed up everything. Like the draft went crazy, right? Anthony, I forget his name. He's from UNLV, which I hate UNLV anyway, but that's beyond the point. When that happened, Ben fell. Ben was supposed to go top 3 that year. And at that point, you're kind of forced to take Ben McLemore. I mean, you are. I hate to say it. But they would have drafted CJ McCollum. And, say you're like, oh, my God. It happens. Let me see. Why did you airball at the gym, though? Who was airballing? Catch me on film. You think Jeff Teague and other Porter are pretty likely? If you have my mindset, they are. I don't know if you have my mindset. Again, if you have my type of mindset where you overpay for a guy for 2 years, he's definitely an option. And I know his agent. I've actually spoken to him. I think he it's not his actual agent, it's the PR guy for the agency, who also represents Malachi. So Malachi is represented by ASM Sports, just like Jeff Teague is. So, there's an asset right there in terms of, hey, I like Sacramento. It's a good place to live. For the next 2 years, bro, you ball out, they'll sign you again. Or you get paid. You come here, you make $20 million a year for the next 2 years. 2 years, $40 million. You might think that's crazy, but if you do draft a point guard, all of a sudden your point guard doesn't have the pressure to perform right away, right? You have a guy who was capable of playing a starting position in Jeff Teague. And if your point guard outperforms him, better for the Kings. Better for the Kings. But again, you don't want to throw in the guy if he's not ready in there. That's the easy thing to do. That's the 2K mentality. Just throw him in there. Coach Dave Yeager is the perfect coach to develop these young players. He said it. I'm not going to put my guys in a tough situation. I'm not going to put my guys in a position where they can't succeed. The reason why he started Skal the other night was because he thought he was a better matchup for the starting guy. I forget who it was for the Nets, as opposed to Booker, who was the backup. He would have got torched on defense because Booker's a big dude, strong dude. Again, he wants these guys to learn how to rebound out of their position. He wants these guys to really position themselves inside the paint where, a lot like DeMarcus, he was a great rebounder. And if you get pounded and pounded and pounded by the opposition, that might hurt your confidence. So again, think about that. Coach Dave Yeager wants to put his guys in a position to succeed. That's a good thing. That's a good coach. That's a coach with the mindset, with the long-term plan. That's a coach who understands how this works. And he's a coach that's going to do it his way. Vlade's going to get the guys. He's going to draft the guys. He's going to sign the guys. Coach Dave Yeager will coach the guys. That's how a well-ran organization runs, performs. That's what it's all about. Let me see. Anthony Bennett, you're right. Anthony Bennett. What do you think about Frank? Again, Frank, I mentioned him earlier. Frank is a stud. A guy who has lots of potential. You know, a guy who had lots of potential and was similar to him was Dante Exum from the Jazz. Now, Dante Exum hasn't been what we thought, but again, he was there at 5. They took him. Those are risks you got to take. But again, why not? This year, they brought in George Hill, solidified the team. The guy who can perform on the court, who's a great locker room guy. See, that's what I'm talking about. You want these vets that can back it up on the floor and that are great mentors, great role models, great people, great locker room people. You want a positive culture. Boom, I said it. Positive culture. Something that this team hasn't had in 7 years. Sorry, I love chew ice. Let me say, Ali, they're all good. So, shout out to our coach. So tomorrow, we might do this again. Let us know if you like this. If you like this type of Q&A where I give you my thoughts. Again, thank you guys so much. We're nothing without you guys, without the support that you guys give us, you know. It means the world to us at Cowbell Kingdom. Again, follow us on all social media platforms. Please follow us at Cowbell_Kingdom. You know, Matt George will come back tomorrow. He was in Arizona watching some good baseball, the A's, the Giants, spring training. You know, great time. Seems like I was talking to him. So I'm excited to have him back tomorrow. You know, he left last week. It's gonna be a good show tomorrow. We should break down a lot more rookies tomorrow. And I think we're gonna have it after the game, so we'll have some post-game analysis on the Spurs Kings. Don't expect this team to win tomorrow, guys. So, you know, if you do, it's gonna hurt your feelings because I don't think they'll win. You don't want them to win. You want them to get like a top 2. I mean, we all know they won't get number 1 because if they get number 1, Philadelphia is gonna swap with them. So the best they can do is get number 2. Can you imagine 2 and number 4? I just don't think the Pelicans will win much, and I don't think the Pelicans will drop in the top 3 where it's top 3 protected. I like where the Kings are headed. I love it, and I hope you guys do too. Let me say my answer a little bit more. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, y'all might not like what I said, but if he can lose the way he did to the Jazz every single night, And you see development from Willie, from Skal, from Buddy, from Malachi, from if Papa ever gets playing time this year. That's winning. You need to think long term, guys. Not this short sighted, in the past, let's win now mentality. Because that wasn't winning. Making an A seed is not winning. Getting annihilated by the Warriors or the Spurs is not winning. So let's get out of this mindset. Let's think long term. Let's think a positive future for this team because they do have one for the first time in a long time. They have one. And again, I want to thank you guys for watching this. I want to thank you guys. Someone said Kawhi is going to have a hell of a game. He's going to have a hell of a game. Again, he's my MVP right now. Best two-way player in the world. He is the MVP, no doubt. So he probably won't win the MVP because he's not flashy. He don't make he's just not flashy, but he gets it done. That's all that matters. He gets those W's. That's all that matters to me. And that's all that matters to him. He loves to play defense. You can't say that about many players in the NBA who love to play defense and who are that effective and who are that dominant on that end of the floor. You have some dominant players on defense. Avery Bradley's. You know, I think Otto Porter has the potential to be that guy as well on defense. And you have good defenders, but this guy is the best of the best. Even Splash, what's his name? Klay Thompson. Klay is a great defender. Definitely in my top 5 on defense. So, but when you're that dominant on both ends, that's crazy, man. Let me know though. Let me know. And what's funny, this whole time, someone just said Temple is dominant. Temple, he's a hell of a defender, man. And this whole time, I forgot. I think I mentioned him once, though. Another great guy who can back it up on the floor, who is a great locker room, a great leader. That's what you want. And Garrett Temple, like I said, is your biggest asset in terms of convincing Otto Porter to come to Sac. So, and Garrett Temple is here for the next 2 years, which was a great contract. I've watched Garrett play for a long time, and the day they signed him, I said they got a hell of a player. And you guys can go back and read that story. It's like as soon as it happened, I said they just signed a very versatile player. It's all documented, guys. I don't make this stuff up. And I do want to mention something about Lonzo Ball before I end the show, and about his father and how people are afraid or they want to talk about his father, but this is how I think about it. And I wrote this down, right? Because I thought it was important. Let me see if I saved it. Oh yeah, so Undisputed on FSN, Skip and Shannon. They had Senior on, right? Mr. Senior Ball. LeVar. And I said to myself, it's one of the best interviews that I've ever watched. Some people say he's arrogant. Some people don't like him because he's boastful and he talks a lot. But he has the right mindset. He has given his sons, all 3 of them, because they're all ballers, and they're all going to be in the NBA, believe it or not. He has given them a gift of extreme confidence, of take that back, a gift of believing in yourself, not allowing anyone to get in your head and say, you know what, you can't be this good. And one of the best things that I've ever heard was, somebody got to be better than Michael Jordan. Why not you? If you live with that type of mindset, you will be somebody on this earth, in this world, in your industry. If you approach life with that mindset of wanting to be the best, and working hard and putting the work in, you will be somebody on this earth. You best believe that. That's the mindset. That's the gift he has given them. And I love it. And something that he said too was, at the end of the day, this is entertainment, guys. This is a game. Like, it's not that serious. This is a game. If you understand that and you embrace that, but you keep it professional and you learn how to stay professional, you're going to play in this league for a long time. Organizations want guys who are pros. As a matter of fact, you know, when you look at guys like, give you a guy, Skal, the White Mamba, wasn't the best of players. But you know what? He brought it every time in practice. He was a true professional, and that's why he stayed in the league for a long time. If you bring your lunch pal every day to work, and you're a pro and you're a good human being, you can appreciate that, and that's going to keep you in the league for a long time. A lot of D-League guys are very talented, but I tell you what, they don't get it up here. They don't, and they're not the best of pros, and they're immature. A lot of them are. I can say that because I've lived it and I've seen it. I've covered the D-League for a long time, and their mindsets, they're not there. But that's why they're there, to develop those mindsets. And, you know, Derek Martin is a teacher, and he's doing a good job. So, again, some people don't like LeVar Ball. I do. It's all perspective, guys. I think Lonzo Ball is the best player in the draft. I think he's going to be a special player coming into the league. I expect him to average 18 points a game, about 10 assists a game. He's going to be Rookie of the Year, barring injury, of course. So I'm high on Lonzo Ball. And if he plays at the Golden One Center, that's going to be a treat, guys. It's must-watch basketball. This guy is as good as they come in terms of passing the ball and going 100 miles an hour downhill. He makes his teammates better. Players want to play with Lonzo Ball because they know that this guy is capable of putting the ball where they love it, where they can get better. He's a floor general, and that's what you want, guys. And he's shooting above 40% from three-point land. So take note of that. Keep that in mind when you look at a guy like Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo Ball is super humble. I feel like he don't boast like his dad. His dad does it for him. Another thing that his dad said in that interview with Skip and with Shannon: whenever things are going good, give credit to your teammates. It's because of them, not because of you. When things are going bad, it's your fault, Lonzo. Take ownership of it. My God, if everyone had that type of mindset, can you imagine how good DeMarcus Cousins would have been, or would be? That's an amazing perspective to have. Give credit to your teammates when things are going good. When things are going bad and they lose a game, put the blame on yourself. Take ownership of it. Gotta love that, man. You got to love that. So again, I think that's all for today. Let me see. Brian Scalabrine. Yeah, I gotta win games. But again, we'll see what happens, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know if you guys liked it. Instagram, Twitter, share this with all your fellow Kings fans, NBA fans. you guys like this type of Q&A or my thoughts kind of podcast, comment down below, give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of the entire CK team, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.